Greetings, Aries and Aries rising. This is your Western forecast for April 2025. I want to start with some powerful new path, new directions, new opportunities is trying to manifest. But there's a lot to develop before you can get there. What I'm talking about is last month I discussed the solar eclipse in Aries. And these eclipses repeat the same cycle every 19 years. Eclipses bring in a lot of new energies and new opportunities. This solar eclipse on March the 29th, that could be lasting at least 6 months, if not longer, was in the sign of Aries. And Aries in itself is about new initiatives, new leadership, new undertakings. But that really enhances what the solar eclipse wants to bring in, because a solar eclipse is a new moon, new beginnings on steroids. Now, to get some clues of what some of these new paths will be, Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars in mythology was the warrior god. Mars is ambitious, aggressive, assertive, can be impatient, can be irritable, but Mars is the ruling energy of that solar eclipse. So it's in your first house or being in your sign. So something new wants to be born, something significant. And remember, this solar eclipse only repeats every 19 years. So let's kind of unpack the possibilities. Mercury and Venus have been retrograde, but going direct in April. So Mercury is about decision-making, curiosity, learning, planning. It went retrograde around March the 14th in Aries, but it went retrograde. And it's backing up as it's retrograding, backing up back into Pisces as we're getting closer to April. And by April the 7th, it's going to stop retrograding and go forwards or go direct, but in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. Pisces in general has a lot to do with transition, maybe introspection. But for Aries, or Aries rising, Pisces is the sign prior to Aries. So that Mercury, as it starts to move forwards, April the 7th to the end of the month, which is as we go into May, and then decisive Mercury will go into Aries. Really triggering this motivation to let's get going with it. But with the Mercury going direct in Pisces, that is the 12th house sector for Aries or Aries rising. And so that gives us some clues of what's trying to being born. Now, on one hand, I would think for a lot of you, the 12th house could be pulling inward to do a lot of research, a lot of studying, to develop this. So it's not yet ready to launch this new direction. Oh, let me also add in, a solar eclipse often takes 30 to 60 days to start revealing what the opportunities are coming into your life. So certainly in April, and after the 7th, when Mercury goes direct, you're getting more focused on your goals, but there's a lot of development and research and studying. Venus also went retrograde in Aries on March the 1st. And as we get to April, it's retrograding back into Pisces, and Venus will be retrograde in Pisces until April the 12th. at which point it goes direct. When it's direct, there's more clarity, there's more focus. Venus can be about relationships, creativity. It's certainly what you value, what you appreciate, and it's also in the 12th house. So there could be a lot of this studying and preparing. Now, Saturn has been in Pisces, transiting your 12th house since early 2023. It's a 30-year cycle. Saturn will leave Pisces and go into Aries at the very end of May and give us a preview of it in Aries, because by September it retrograding back into Pisces to tie up any loose strings. Now, Saturn is a 30-year cycle. Going from Pisces to Aries for the world is a big deal, especially for Aries, because that taskmaster responsible Saturn in Pisces has a lot to do with transition and letting go, especially when it's in the 12th house of transitions and letting go. Then it moves into Aries. Aries is taking action, taking charge. That Saturn, you're starting to get much more committed, taking more responsibility for major new beginnings. So there's a lot of this letting go and wrapping up the old, getting ready for a new 30-year cycle of making these commitments, moving into some new directions. Now, the karmic north node entered into Pisces in the beginning of 2025, about once every 18 to 19 years. And it'll be there for a year and a half. The karmic north node, if you, in hindsight, later, and then you look back over certain events, anything that's being touched by the north node will seem like it was meant to be, like it's divine, it's karmic. But while you're going through it, you may not have that perspective. But what you will have is that the transiting north node, if it's impacting anything in your chart, and in April, it's impacting the transiting Saturn. So the karmic north node will enhance or amplify anything it's impacting. So it's aligning or impacting committed, responsible, serious Saturn. And the north node is really amplifying that sense of dedication and responsibilities. Now, it's going to be exact from about the 17th to the 23rd of April. But since this is a major event, as Saturn is only in Pisces every 30 years, the karmic north node, 18 to 19 years. So this alignment doesn't happen very often. And it's in your transitional sector, the 12th house, or things behind the scenes in development. So there's a lot of commitment to really build or to study. Many of you may be going back to school or to study, get a degree to help you move into this new direction. You may be wanting to start your own business. That's that Aries. Do your own thing. Be very independent. So this idea could have really been bubbling up within you as with that solar eclipse on March the 29th going into April. But remember, the eclipse could take 30 to 60 days to manifest. So part of the clues to describe the birthing of this new path, this new opportunity, these new ideas, is bringing in the Mercury, the Venus, the Saturn, the North Node, all in the 12th house. On one hand, as I've been saying, this is about preparing and researching and studying. But specifically, the 12th house, you might be getting more involved with charity, healing, spirituality, a lot of deep introspection. Those are some of the qualities of the 12th house. Now, we got to look to Mars, because that'll also bring in some clues of what is trying to be born. And because Mars rules the sign Aries, and the solar eclipse is in Aries. But before I discuss Mars, Mars is the ruling planet for your sign, so it's very important energies. If you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. All right, your ruling planet, warrior, assertive, ambitious Mars. Mars is going into Leo, which is a fire sign, compatible with Aries, a fire sign. And Mars is going into Leo the middle of April to the middle of June, once every 2 years. Leo is 5 signs past Aries. Now, we got some clues back in November last year when Mars entered into Leo, into your 5th house sector. Then on December the 6th, it appeared to retrograde through December. As we went into January, Mars retrograded out of Leo back into Cancer, which is remaining until April the 17th, when the Mars goes back into Leo for 2 months till June the 17th. So you got some clues back in November. Maybe you were being motivated, being very excited about taking a risk, going into new directions. Then December, when it went retrograde, it might have went on hold. It might have took more effort. You might have been second guessing yourself. But now, come April the 17th, the Mars is back into Leo, excellent with Aries in your 5th house. The 5th house can represent children, giving birth to children, giving birth to creative projects. That 5th house can be romantic energy, entertainment, pleasurable energy. It's one of the more pleasurable areas of the horoscope. Mars is the athlete, the warrior. The 5th house is associated with sports or recreational activity. So part of this new direction could be getting more involved in more physical activity or exercising on a more mundane level, or getting involved with sports, being more competitive. This could be, this would certainly, if you're having a baby or you're starting to discuss with your partner about, let's have a child, that would certainly take you in a whole new direction of your life. And that Mars, all that fiery physical energy, is very favorable for getting pregnant. So that 5th house can also be, all this passion and drive, that's Mars, for creative entertainment energies. So those are some of the clues that new moon solar eclipse will start revealing in the next couple of months. It can be impacting you for up to 6 months, with the effects, because it's every 19 years, lasting for a while. But April, with Mercury and Venus and Saturn and the North Node all in your shadow sector or the 12th house of Pisces, there is a lot of preparing and studying before launching. Now, Mercury and Venus, as we go into May, will leave Pisces and go into Aries. And Saturn will move into Aries at the very end of May. So May is when you start giving birth and having focus of what these new goals in life will be. But April is you are preparing, you're studying, you're incubating these new opportunities. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading, check out my two-question offer. Visit my website at gardino.co. That's .co. Until next month, be safe and well.